OK, now their books fill the bestseller lists and we love watching them on television. Why is it that we never seem to get bored of detective stories? We don't like crime in real life, but why will so many of us settle down on a Sunday evening and happily watch A Midsummer Murder, or in tonight's case, the #1 Ladies Detective Agency? We have actually with us as well, if we could just bring him in, a real-life private detective, Nigel Parsons. Happy Easter to you.
Good morning, happy Easter.
When you just heard there, of course, Simon talking about how he comes up with his characters, do you feel you'd fit the bill to grace one of his novels?
Well, we always deal with different people and we always learn something new from them. Actually, just listening now, we used to weed out job applications by not ever telling them where the office was. So if they got there,
the Magic Circle, never mind the Detection Society. Do you read detective novels?
I do from time to time. I haven't read McCall Smith in years, but I remember loving it when it came out. It was so refreshing.
Do they bear any resemblance to the day-to-day activity that you conduct?
Yeah, yes, of course. It's a different environment, it's a different country, but
I didn't necessarily mean that particular series of books.
Well, we don't come across too many dead bodies in a time because I think there's only about 600 people who are murdered in this country every year, and the police handle that. But we deal with theft and fraud, and dishonesty and lying and cheating, and often the results aren't quite as neatly packaged at the end of the day. But thinking of McCall Smith, I can't actually remember a case where somebody was eaten by a crocodile, but certainly different things that are different.
It's where you're set, isn't it, really? It's where you actually conduct your business, you get related crimes. How did you actually get into it?
I fell into it by accident completely, coming back about a dozen years or so ago.
What were you doing before?
I was out of work for a while and then looking around for something different to do. It was one of those points of having a change in life, and fell into this and just got the passion for it. And that was
so you don't need any qualifications at all? Really?
Unfortunately not. Well, you do need to have a reasonably good brain, and I think being honest helps. But just an idea of lateral thinking, and I mean, I've worked with people who are all pretty well educated. We look for people who are different and draw on each other's experiences because everything's different.
Can I just ask, do you get a kind of eureka moment when you're lying in the bath and you suddenly think, they done it, where it suddenly all becomes clear, or is it a much more kind of mundane, logical, lateral kind of thinking process?
There's a colleague of mine, Andy, he always texts at about 1:30 in the morning because he lies in bed and you can tell something has just gone ping in his mind, and he's just dropped something in the place. So it does, driving around the car. When you're thinking to yourself, suddenly things just suddenly
and
come
they
together.
often feel quite obvious, like it's
how did you not see that
coming?
How did I not manage to trip over the briefcase on the way to work?
I admire the way you talk about having a passion for it and yet sound like you're quite bored by it.
Perhaps I've been there a little bit too long. I mean, we have the.
Don't let grumpy old man infect you.
Well, sit in the car for 4 or 5 hours, and I think grumpy old man can come to his full.
So you're sitting in the car surveying something. Paint a picture for us. You're watching a door, waiting for it to be opened by the person that you suspect is guilty of the fraud. Is that how it goes? And then kind of.
And suddenly something will happen. A guy will come out, and you've been sitting there for 3 or 4 hours, and you are bored witless.
You see, Simon, you don't get that part of the job in your books, do you?
Well, we have the great beauty of the advantage we can edit. Every interesting happening. I mean, it's like, when you have a detective, the moment where they say, just a minute, there's something here. So fiction is much easier than real life, I think.
When they're going through hours and hours of tapes, looking for that one crucial moment. Nigel, have you ever thought about putting your experiences down on the page and turning it into a novel?
I think it would probably be a little bit too long and too tedious with all the detail in it. I'd say the thing we don't have is that if you're writing fiction, any writer can make that convenient door somewhere that gives the escape passage, because you can set the escape door up in chapter 3, and in chapter 11 the hero suddenly finds it and slips through. We don't have that sort of nicety of making the little get-out clause somewhere along the line. Most of what we do suddenly happens, and you think, God, here he goes. He's got in a cab. Now what do I do? Because there aren't any. Run very fast.
And Simon, have you got any other characters you're working on at the moment?
Yes, I'm working on. There's a series I'm writing set in the south coast, really, called in a village called Feathering, and the latest Blood at the Bookies was only a couple of weeks ago.
Sounds intriguing. Thank you very much, Simon. Happy Easter to you and both our guests, of course. Very interesting. Well.